look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother.
Yo.
Really wanna try for
Yo.
my brother.
I said fucking yo. No.
I say yo. Like a
Yo.
battle
Chris
rapper.
Brown shit. I thought you was on some Chris Brown.
Never that. Yo, welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest podcast. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us.
On some May shit.
Welcome back.
All music references.
Oh, if this is your first time joining us, we have four brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana, that come together to converse and commune, and if nothing else, get to know each other a little more. Even though we've been friends for over 2 decades, we like to talk about a myriad of subjects, and by all means, at any point, you can write us in at informillyhonestpodcast@gmail.com, and you can have your subjects inserted into this conversation too. And if you a dope individual, whether you be regular or a little higher than regular, or
supernatural,
or extraordinary, we can have you on the podcast too. We are looking for sponsors, so by all means, if you got a custom condom company, if you sell organic juices,
or bruh, if you are the best donut shop in the city of Atlanta,
any bakery,
please hit us up. I spend way too much money there. Please support us.
If you want any ad time, we got you. Just write us an email at informillyhonestpodcast@gmail.com. But above all else, if you engage in any conversation, as we will henceforth, any connection, and any kind of friendship, companionship, or intimacy, by all means, we encourage you to always follow those 3 principles of our podcast, and that is being forthright, being vulnerable, and most of fuck all, be honest.
Yeah,
fellas.
Fuck all. That's the best.
Fellas, I realized something the other day. We don't have like a fan name. Because we actually have some consistent listeners in which we appreciate y'all. So and I know they normally name themselves, but we also ain't got like 100,000 people like vote on that shit. And so if you had to throw out some draft names for our fan base, what would they be?
The InforMILLys?
I was thinking that, yeah, because you got the Incredibles. So we can have the InforMILLys.
Because there's the Beehive, there's the
Monsters.
What?
Lady Gaga Monsters.
Who's that? Lady Gaga Monsters. Bodega Boys got the Bodega Hive. Flagrant 2 got the Asshole Army. Kev on Stage got the Stage Crew. Like
that's a good one.
Yeah, we gotta brainstorm on that one.
Yeah,
but I guess we're doing that right now.
I was like, that was what we're doing.
Yeah. already gave mine. I'm trying to think of something better.
I want to add something. I want to say something like with the word honest in it, like the truth tellers or something. I don't know. Always keeping it honest.
Make it sound like oracles and shit.
Yeah, whole podcast about the Matrix movie or something.
I don't know.
I'm with that
question because it's pop. What?
The Matrix.
The Matrix. Oh,
yeah. I'm with that. Sign me up.
If you had the opportunity to get out the Matrix, would you do it?
Yeah,
sure.
I think eventually, yeah, I'd want to do
like,
that.
Like you going to Zion?
Zion,
fight the machines.
Yeah.
I'd want to flee. I think at some point.
But you gonna be old dude who took the little bribe from the agent?
Who, me? No. I don't know if I want the offer in the first place, but I'm also like, I don't know. I want to believe that I would take the opportunity to be unplugged, quote unquote. But I probably would be knowing me, but I'm also like, that cream of wheat shit that they ate. I was like, yo, y'all.
No, that's true. That's true. As much as I really do like cream of wheat, by the way.
Hey, you could be the
I
chef
really
up there,
like
bro.
It didn't seem like they had that many
Hey,
resources.
introduce the seasonings. Hey, bring your seasonings.
I'm sure they were eating shit with like sheep metal in it and running low on rations quick.
You can always hook up to eat.
I was like, yo, I get it. Like this has all the nutrients and shit that you could need. But I was like, yo, my man, you a black man in the ship. Like you can't see, ain't no butter, no salt, nothing.
Have you ever seen Snowpiercer?
I know of it.
The train where they was taking over the train.
Yeah. Well, their meals, it was like some dystopian universe. They were living on a train essentially that was forever moving. And their food was cockroaches, but they didn't know it because they were kind of like pressed and molded into these bars. Kind of looks like a brownie. But then when they discovered how the food was being made, they were like, "Dang, that's messed up. They've been feeding us roaches this whole time."
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
Even when I'm in like like overseas or whatnot, Adam, you've been to plenty of Asian countries. Like I just don't find chocolate covered crickets like appealing.
I had was it a cricket? I had a cricket. It was a fried cricket.
How was it?
It wasn't good at all. It tastes like it kind of tastes like what you would think fish scales would taste like. It had almost like a fishy taste, but in the worst way. This is what it tastes like.
Yeah, I got trauma with crickets because we had them in my dad's house growing up, and so like eating them just it's not appealing.
Yeah, I was drunk, and that's the only reason why I tried it. Only reason.
So we kind of abandoned that whole name on fan base thing. So
man, I've been listening to a lot of Joe Rogan lately, and I was about to like no, that one was really sad. Damn, but I'm glad she made it out. But no, yesterday I listened to one, and he was telling what I guess he thought was a fact about the close connection between cockroaches and lobsters. And I was about to and he mentioned that, and I just looked it up to make sure I don't sound like a fucking fool on there. And they said they're actually not that closely related. So go ahead and nip that one in the butt.
Yeah.
I was about to give y'all a fact. I was about to give our truth tellers a fact. Our truthies.
Our truth. Yo, cats out here who are consistent listeners of the show, write us in, let us know, like, if you could submit your vote for what you want y'all to be called, let us know, and we'll make it real. We can put it on some merch because merch is coming, and so so y'all can support us even more, which we appreciate the support that y'all have given so far, fellas. There's a
whole nest.
Huh? You said what?
The whole nest.
The whole nest.
See what you did there with that.
That's hilarious and brilliant. So, fellas, I'm sure it exists in a myriad of genres of life. The one that most immediately occurs to me is singers. There are singers. I'm sure I'm going to catch plenty of flack for this. So, hey, by all means, if you got a difference in opinion, you can write us at InforMILLy at podcast@gmail.com and let us know your feelings. There's so many singers who, not singers, are people who have sung on record that have grown to stardom or legendary status that can't sing worth shit. I.e. Andre 3000. I.e.
Barbra Streisand, in my opinion.
I don't agree with that, but I'm not that I even listen to Barbra Streisand, but I do think she can sing.
There's so many.
Hey, hold on,
Janet Jackson can't sing, but
there's so many. Jennifer Lopez, Rihanna.
Jennifer Lopez can't sing.
My first thought,
Keith Sweat.
When you threw this topic up, I don't know. It's not just about singing, but like Snoop Dogg was my first thought.
But that's auto-tune. Like he didn't. Like I'm talking about.
I'm not saying about singing. I'm saying he's a legend, but is not very talented in my opinion.
What?
I don't know.
Correct. You heard it here
90s,
first, folks.
90s Snoop was pretty
90s Snoop is
Yeah.
amazing.
Legendary.
And he could freestyle.
And even
He can
beyond
actually.
90s, even beyond 90s Snoop, like the whole cadence and rhythm and
Yeah, I think it was more about the style, but he
Than
can
actual,
actually
lyrical
freestyle.
ability.
but I guess with lyrical ability, are we just talking about like and this is a slight deterrence from the original thing. But with lyrical ability, are we only talking about technique as far as like similes and metaphors and wordplay and all of that?
Yeah.
Or like I don't think how should I say, like J. Cole, for the most part, prior to maybe this album, he didn't rap about anything. In his raps, they weren't that complex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But he's still an amazing MC.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And
Yo,
so
was this? Is this topic ranging for like many different genres and different people, or is this specific
it
to
doesn't.
singing?
It's not. I was
Okay.
using that as a setup.
Got you. Okay, I'll let you finish setting that up, and then we can.
We can talk about that for a little bit though.
But I'm saying the main subject, we can always go whatever route.
Yeah.
The main subject is: who do you feel has reached a legendary status, or do you think it's possible to reach legendary status without actually being that talented and whatever that thing you became a legend in?
Okay, now that you've finished setting that up, we can get back into it.
That was a good part to put at the end, because you saying that they a legend in what they began with, right?
I'm saying the thing that they're legendary for.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's a legend in the game.
Right, because you could become a legend and not necessarily
have to do with that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg is not legendary for rapping. That's how he got started.
Yeah.
Marky Mark. Back when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark.
I feel like most people don't even know that, bro.
Huh?
I think most people don't even know he was that.
Yeah.
He was the Good Vibrations dude.
Yeah.
But
Marky Mark.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm talking about people who are legendary in a craft, but may not necessarily be top tier of that craft.
What I'm saying is I'd rather watch Snoop in his Girls Gone Wild episodes.
And that's wild to me, because Snoop, in just about every decade since he's come out in the 90s, has had multiple hits or high success in dope regards. Like, are we talking like Drop It Like It's Hot is an amazing song? Like, you can't tell me like you stop it before he goes.
No, for sure. No. But I have no doubt in my mind that Pharrell did have a lot of influence in it. And if Pharrell wasn't a part of that, I don't know if it'd be that dope personally.
He produced it and he did the first verse. I mean, so
he also told Snoop to go redo
folks
his
write
verse.
for people too. Yeah, it's like people write for people all the time. Who knows how much he wrote and didn't write? I'm not saying Snoop is whack. Of course, he has some hits. He has dope songs, of course. But I don't think he's a legend in the game of hip hop. I don't think, in my mind, that he should be a legend.
Wow, wait, a legend in the game of hip hop? You saying that Snoop?
That's how he started. So I'm saying we're saying what
but
they started.
I'm just you're saying no. I don't think I don't think you're saying what you mean. You're not saying that.
Don't tell me. Don't say that like that. What are you talking about?
Okay. I'll rephrase the statement.
You're saying what you mean.
Only because you're saying I don't think Snoop is a legend, and that's not something that you're saying. I don't think Snoop is a legend, and I what it sounds to me like you're trying to say is you don't consider him a legend for you, but he is a legend.
Yes, that cannot be.
That's irrefutable.
What?
So first of all, stop telling me how I'm feeling and what I'm saying. Stop doing that. Okay.
I'm not trying to.
No, it's all good. I'm just playing. I guess let's clarify then, like for this particular topic. Let's specify for this topic.
I'm not okay. So let me clarify what I mean. What the question is. Who do you think is considered a legend, but they are not top tier of that craft.
Okay, then I guess I can still say that Snoop is definitely a legend, considered a legend, but in his craft, which just so happened to be the thing that got him on.
Right.
You know what?
I don't think that he's a legend in that craft. I don't think he's top tier in that craft, but he is still
I
a
could
legend.
rock with Aaron's opinion.
Yeah, for that I can agree. But saying that he's not a legend,
Yeah,
I can't agree.
No, he's definitely a legend for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
because we're saying like people who got to become legendary, but you're like in the grand scheme of it, they aren't that good at that thing. Now I don't particularly agree with that because I think Snoop's great. Do I think everything Snoop does is great? No, but
that's like everybody, essentially,
No.
almost every yeah.
like, you know, I mean, and when I say everything, I mean like there's plenty of things. Do I think Snoop's verse on High Definition with Lupe is great? No, but
I think Snoop became a guy that, you know, people just need his cosign. Not
because
and his cosign goes a long way.
it goes a long way.
So
I don't think he needs to like get better in the craft of hip hop.
No.
Like, I don't think he needs
Absolutely
to strive
not.
or get better, which I appreciate people who are still seem interested in the thing that, like, I feel like that's
yeah.
I like that. Like you 30 years in the game or something, you still like, I'm still interested. I still want to try new things. I don't feel like he needs to do that.
Yeah.
It feels like I just appreciate that hunger, and I
Well,
just don't see evolution. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all good. I was pretty much summing up mine. That was it.
Okay, so what I was gonna say is I don't think Snoop stopped any pursuit of that. I think Snoop has done it in other ways. He's on the Big Show with Bert Kreischer and a bunch of other folks. He's having cooking shows with Martha Stewart. He had a number one gospel album for a period of time.
I should not have said that, because that allowed like another segue. It allowed like I know what you're saying for sure, and I agree with you on that. I'm just saying I can simply say I just don't think he's that good of a rapper. There we go. That's very plain, and it's about as plain as white people's Kool-Aid, right?
I will say that his creativity is higher than most artists or rappers, maybe. Like, even not even specifically to the craft, like you could tell he's creative by his ventures because they hit. They they go and get Snoop. Like for instance, he just started commentating with the sports world,
right?
And it's an instant hit because he's just a creative mind,
and he's very charismatic.
Yeah, but Picasso at some point could also just draw a big P on a piece of paper and sell it for $1 million. It don't mean that he put a lot into it. It don't mean that like it's the dopest P that people have seen that's worth $1 million.
I mean, he could also
at some point everybody fucking loves you and they just know you as a legend. You could just get indoors just for being who you are.
I mean, when
I'm
you
not
a
taking
legend,
respect from what you did already. I'm not
when
saying
you a legend,
I'm taking credit from it. I'm just saying it doesn't mean that it was always hitting necessarily. In my opinion.
I mean, if it wasn't, they will stop using him. You know,
I don't.
He's likable. I mean, that's pretty.
He's just extremely likable.
I'm just saying it's successful. Whatever he does is usually
usually successful. Right?
Yeah. Somehow he came on the scene as a gangster rapper, like the epitome of gangster rap. That's So he started as that. Probably made a lot of enemies. Like as far as like parents didn't want their kids listening to this guy. But fast forward 30 years, he can commentate for the Olympics to those same people who didn't want their kids listening to his music. He's learned how to like appeal to like kind of every group. Audience. He can be PG and be likable and have no issues, and then he can still be Snoop that we know from the 90s, and that's what makes him so like unique. And so
I feel like that's because he's really himself around all, like wherever he goes, he's is himself. That's respectable.
Yeah,
I think Snoop is kind of an anomaly because he transcended several worlds. Like you got the marijuana industry, like that was once very suppressed, and now he's the king of that, along with a few others. Like rap, he's a legend in rap. He's a legend on YouTube. like
this dude was a football. He started the football program.
Yeah.
Players. He has players that's gone to the NFL. It's like that's crazy. I didn't know
he got his hand in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it all.
If you want to be a good businessman, at least in this world, I feel like it's wise to diversify, have your hand in a lot of stuff.
I mean, once you become a legend, you pretty much
got to be. You also got to be good at all those things.
Or just have the support system. Yeah. I mean, if you got money, you pretty much got the support system to be successful.
You know the people that could get it off the ground. Like maybe you can't do it. Say you want to start like a liquor of some sort. Like, okay, well I know nothing about liquor, but I know
get
this
people
guy
that know how to do it. Yeah.
But you know what? I could guarantee
my name behind it.
A lot of that stuff just kind of come to him and he just enhanced it. Like they probably come to him with a plan. Like, yo, we got this. All you got to do is
put your name behind it. Yeah,
because you established that.
Right.
I guess it's just different routes. I mean, I respect him, the idea of him being a legend. I respect everything. I really like that Doggy Style album, but that's about it. It's dope. That's for sure. It's just my opinion. That's about it. He had some hits afterwards, of course. I think the song "Beautiful" with Pharrell. Once again, there's a common denominator here. He's incredible. Of course, he came up with some hits. I just don't think he's top tier in that particular field that he came in. I don't think he's a legend but is he a legend in general? Yes.
You know why I got a tough time with that? Because he's like
you disagree.
Old school. Like, I mean, it's like a kind of an old argument in hip hop now that
like simple rhyming, the idea, I know what you
mean.
As
far as like when you ask somebody their top 5 or 10, none of them guys who started it is usually in it. Like a few older people will say like Big Daddy Kane or some of them old guys, but
Rakim.
It's like Rakim. Yeah. But it's like we don't put none of them guys in our top 5 now because it's a different time and a different.
It was a different era from when we grew up in. Like my first
hip hop just kind of just started, and the guys now are taking it much farther. So,
but hip hop is the only shit that they do that in. No one
be also opinionated, man. I think it's just
sure, but context is everything. If we could talk about top 5, we can go like, yo, who's our top 5 from this era? Because once the era evolves, you can't compare them anymore.
But some people, if you say top 5, they still may want to grab them guys from the old eras, and that's like that's fine of all time. Like that's
fine. Let an opinion be an opinion, though.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying this shit is fact. I'm saying it purely as
but it gets treated like fact. I'm saying it gets treated like fact is the issue. No one's comparing the White Stripes and Aerosmith.
I think people do like to compare like the old
maybe folks who are like heavy into only rock and roll or only that particular genre or wide umbrella of the genre would do that. So even people who actually have podcasts or like clips of them comparing this particular band to that one. They do. I think ours is just we maybe grew up more on hip hop, but that was our main thing to listen to. So we're doing that here.
It doesn't happen enough, I guess. And by enough, I mean I ain't never seen the shit. So I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying the shit is so fucking rare that you don't see it. You ain't hearing nobody compare Stevie Nicks and Hiatus Coyote. Like it's just
well, just
we should have a top 5
low opinion. I don't think it should discredit anybody. Somebody's opinion shouldn't discredit, and obviously won't what he's done.
Right.
But and I do know that argument too, bro, Marcus. Like that happened. I've heard that a lot too, in regards to like the old school and how they sounded compared to now. Like I totally understand that.
Right. And their argument is like, well, they set the foundation, and it wouldn't be blah 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 without MC,
which is true.
da da da,
MC
spinner rule or something.
What happened to that? Why don't people call themselves MC blank anymore?
Yeah, that would be dope if somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know that people consider what's kind of interesting. I don't know that people really consider themselves MCs anymore, or really care about the term MC, because one thing that has happened a lot, depending on what genre of rap we're talking about, I don't know that enough artists care about moving the crowd as it is. Or like they
a KRS-One or something. I feel like he would.
Well, I mean,
appreciate that.
But I'm saying I think there's
talking about currently. There's no artists.
Currently,
at least not in the mainstream. At least,
I'm sure they exist. I'm not going to act like they don't. But I think it's a thing of. I think a lot of times if people are putting on a show, too many of the younger cats, their show is about. It's almost a little about them more than it is about involving the crowd and all of that kind of stuff.
That's true. Yeah. It'd be funny to see somebody that does trap or drill, and their name's like MC something.
Well, I didn't mean to make it. It's all about Snoop.
I was gonna pull it back and say, like, do y'all have anybody else that y'all feel falls into that?
I mean, how much time we got?
I have one that I'm not. Admittedly, I'm not like fully sold on, but it is kind of what I feel. He's not a legend, but he's on his way. Gambino. I love him. I think he's great. I don't think he should be considered a top tier singer.
Oh no,
as he is.
I never knew he was a top tier singer.
Because the whole thing of he has an amazing funk album, and that led to him being casted as Simba in that horrible live action Lion King to play side Beyonce, who can't act worth a shit. And so it's like between her bad acting and his above par.
Yo, the fact that you just mentioned Beyonce, everybody gonna forget about my Snoop comments. I'm really happy about that.
Look here, we've had the whole Beyonce conversation, and if anybody wants to argue like Beyonce can act, I will have this debate all day. All know that she can't act worth shit.
Yeah, even they know that.
I mean, like Austin Powers was the highlight of her acting.
Every movie she's been in, she's been horrible, and so we're not gonna stop that.
Take the heat off me.
let me look you in the eye. If you sit up here, by all means, drive our interactions up and comments on this shit. We can make it a clip. Beyonce can't act. We're not gonna act like Beyonce can act. You can praise and lick the dirt all from between her toes, but we're not gonna act like Beyonce can act.
They're gonna say she deserve an Oscar
for what?
I don't know.
And a Golden Globe. And a Tony.
She has never that she what is it called when you get all of
the EGOT. Yeah.
It's like we're not gonna act like Beyonce can act. She can't. I know I was not the only person furious when she got announced as Nala in that movie. Made no sense. But anyways, I remember hearing Awaken My Love because it's an amazing album and being like, he's never going to sing this live.
Not well.
And not well. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because every song, his voice kind of sounds different in every song. So I feel like that would just be challenging to like try to even do that,
right?
Because someone asked him like if he did any effects, and he's like, "No, I just changed my voice," and I'm not saying that's not possible. It just seemed like it'd be hard to redo on stage, you know. But
I've never really even heard this. I like, is it a thing? Is this becoming a mainstream idea that he's a legend in singing, or he's on his way?
Again, I never said I've said he's not a legend in this regard, but it is a thing of because of the success of that funk album and because he keeps fucking singing, because it was that and a couple YouTube videos of him singing some songs that went viral. A couple covers that he did that went viral.
Yeah, to me,
and I'm always like, can we stop acting like he's amazing at this?
Yeah, I saw that performance, and that's actually like one of my favorite. I'm not even an R&B guy, but that's probably like one of my favorite R&B songs. And like he didn't do this justice.
and it got proven when he did Redbone on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah,
he sound crazy.
Jimmy wouldn't turn on the auto-tune and give him some help. He was like, no, we keep it raw here, son. We got the roots.
Jimmy said right on that side of
we ain't doing that. Nah, so we got talent. Yeah, we got talent just to the left of you. Just to the left of you. Don't worry. They'll say
I don't know. But I feel like that about Chance. Chance keeps singing, and I don't know why. I don't know who keeps telling Chance like, "Yo, man, you sound fantastic." Like, no.
I think it's become a thing in hip hop where like a lot of artists, they know they can't sing, but they sing anyway. And I think that not being able to sing is maybe that's them just showing. I don't know. It's a weird man. I think that's just part of it now. J. Cole does it all the time.
J. Cole does it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having this thing about that, man. Like in music or hip hop lately. Like, why why they keep doing this? Like, what happened to the like R&B singer?
Hire a singer to sing this chorus.
What happened to that? Like that could make so many songs much better. For real.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually don't mind
like
it.
Chance singing. Yeah. I kind of like it when Chance
I don't love it, but I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
I just it gotta be a limit to how many songs you do that.
Yeah.
I could deal with it for a few songs.
Sure. I never had a beef with it until he had a tiny desk and then he sang one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs. And I was like,
which one?
Not Evil. It's right there. As soon as you ask me, you know how somebody asks you your name, like I know it jumps out of your head. They won't go where they go.
Isn't she love?
Right. I'm sure I'm saying the name wrong, but they won't go. They won't go when they go. I'll send it in the group chat, or we could put it in post. Adam can do his flight attendant thing. I love that effect too.
Me too.
You were actually pretty close, Josh. The song is "They Won't Go When I Go."
But yeah, he sang that, and I went, so all y'all got this track list. All of y'all saw this was going to happen, and nobody went. Chance, you sure you want to do that? One of the greatest composers and singers of any generation, and you want to get on worldwide, one of those top tier YouTube channels of all time, and sing that.
Yeah, that's a bold move, Cotton.
And so yeah, like that was the one that made me go, I can't do this. I can't rock with this anymore.
Yeah, I got a question. Can we put Madonna in this category? I think she's dope. I like some of her songs for sure. Like, but can she really sing?
I've never tried. I've honestly never heard Madonna sing live.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know enough of her music, but just from what I know about Madonna fans, I mean, it was more than her vocal. She was she's considered
a legend for sure.
Yeah, but it was like her performances, her persona. It was more than just her voice. It's like Madonna was like it was like the whole package pop star, you know,
like a Snoop.
She date like a 20-year-old dude, man. She
right
like
now,
60. Yeah, she like 60 something.
Yeah,
she don't look like she look like. You know, she got a lot of stuff done, but she looked like she like 30 maybe.
There's plenty of old white men, etc., that are dating 22-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm not commenting on that. I'm just saying I think she's considered a legend, but can she really sing that? Well, I don't. I would put her in that category. You know,
she is considered a legend to a lot of people, even though she co-opted Vogue and
Would y'all tongue kiss Madonna? The way she
man.
The way she did when she tongue kissed Drake or something.
Yeah, I'd have been like,
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I remember
She
because
got me too,
just because
though.
she a legend, I don't know, man. Too many tongues.
There's plenty of elder celebrities
too
that
many
I
tongues
would.
to be a legend. What'd you
Too
say,
many
Marcus?
tongues.
You went on mute.
My bad. Too many tongues went down her throat. That's what I
Because of the legend.
Nah, I don't care about that. But there are plenty of like older celebrity women that I'm like, yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Actually, Vanessa Williams. Remember Vanessa Williams?
I remember Vanessa Williams was great.
Man. Oh my gosh. Yeah. She's one of them.
My first elder crush. My first elder crush was Angela Bassett, and I was still to this day.
Yeah, Angela Bassett, man, she don't age.
Yeah, she.
But I feel like Madonna, like, kind of had her business all out. So maybe they got the same amount of people who've been with her, but
dude, everybody got something.
It just seemed like, man, like it's like a notch on her.
The thing I hate is when like people make it a big deal when a female celebrity dates. So like, say in the span of like 6 years, this celebrity, female celebrity dates 3 guys. People are looking at that like, dang, she's just getting around, huh? I'm like, that's not unusual.
Yeah.
A regular person would date way more people than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's like every time, like for like Taylor Swift, people would mention Taylor Swift all the time. But I'm like, her, just because it's public doesn't mean it's unusual. Like, we know people that have dated. That's just human existence. So that always throws me off. But then when a guy does it, like Common or Aaron Rodgers, they date around all the time, and nobody says anything about it.
Yeah, facts, man.
I mean, we know the patriarchy. We don't need to go down that path. It just always kind of bugs me. Like,
people love to live in their hypocrisy.
But you know what? That's a good, like, at least a conversation to have, like, because is it different at all?
What do you mean?
Like for like the count for men, is it the same as women?
Wait, are you saying is the count different, or is considerations toward people's count different?
Yeah, the latter.
I would say so.
Absolutely.
Because if you ask most guys, if you ask them like, what's an acceptable amount?
No, I mean, is it? Let me try to. Is it natural? You know, are we equal in that way? Basically.
I see what you're saying.
I was like, well, those are 2 different questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
Is ask the question one more time.
Okay, so
are you?
Some people believe that women are a little bit more, I won't say reserved, but is the to have a, like, say if a man had 10 and a woman had
10 bodies.
Yeah.
So a man has 10 and a woman has 10, and people think that her 10 are worse.
Yeah, that is the normal consensus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of patriarchy and sexism.
And I think Marcus, I think what you're saying is I
mean Josh saying that as a fact, but is it like
it's not
is it something that we can look into?
Because
let me mention that the biology for a man is different from a woman. Is it not?
Sure. Well,
okay,
I don't get the point you're making.
So then, is the pursuit of sex the same for a man as it is for a woman?
Depends on the person.
Well, yeah.
Well, in that case, everything's
we
relative.
gotta account for We gotta account for we gotta.
So we can't have any conversation because everything.
Right. Like, that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, like you can't just shut them down like that.
For the sake of this conversation,
yeah,
sometimes we can generalize things because there are general differences between groups of people. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that one of the differences between men and women? Because for the most part, women don't pursue the other partner the same way. And maybe I'm not saying that is natural that way, but in this society, it is what it is.
I don't know that to be true, and maybe that's just
do women love the same way as men? Do women, you know what I'm saying?
You
don't think we have those differences?
I think a lot of times you have a general way that society is going, and society has this general ideas of how things work, and we see it happen a lot, so we keep that general idea going because you keep seeing it happen. It's like a fucking cycle. And then oftentimes I feel like whether even if you're not seeing it happen consistently in front of you, certain things keeps getting perpetuated. So they just stay as a fact, or they stay as like something that, oh, this is just how it is. But you're not in certain circles where people are actually challenging those ideas and saying, well, is it really that way or not?
You know what? I don't like when people ignore like the obvious differences. Like,
such as
like say if you have sex with a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
With no condom,
okay,
you can get her pregnant, right? And we can go keep impregnating other women, but that woman has to wait for 9 months, right?
Before she can get pregnant again,
right?
She can fuck freely.
Yeah, but I'm saying is different because she will have to tend to that baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like is biological and actual differences, because the woman don't give the baby off to the man, and you know it's
she could.
What I'm saying is biological differences, responsibilities that's different. So it's like in a woman's mind, when she get pregnant, her mind is focused on nurturing a baby, right? And that's what she has to do, because
optimistically speaking.
So what I'm saying,
I'm
with you. I'm with you, dog. I'm just trying to figure out.
It's like you finding the sliver of the 5% chance that, you know what I'm saying?
The
like,
path of the least resistance.
Josh, you're good at that, dog. Like,
yeah,
Joe, like,
I know I understand
which is important
the point
to note,
that you're
though.
trying to make, but
yeah.
I'm like bringing in a part that is like an elephant in the room almost.
Here's the reason why I do this is because I have for a multitude of reasons refuse to put anybody into refuse to put any group into a monolith, whether that be,
I agree with that,
whether that be us heterosexuals, us black mixed folks, us what have you. And so to say, well, you know, because biologically this thing happens, and I'm like, niggas die and get abandoned every day. Like, so unless we're talking about a hardcore statistic, because all of this shit is speculation, I can't necessarily be like, well, you know, because of this, I have to go based on my experience or just the shit that I've seen. And in the shit that I've seen, I don't know that it's a thing of, at least in this latter part of life. I hit my mic. Sorry. I don't know in this latter part of life where I actually have some self-confidence and all of that kind of shit, which I did not have for a very long time, that I pursue women more than women have pursued me, or in the relationships that I have where I see people pursue others. I don't know that to be true, because I've seen plenty of women go after what the fuck they want. And I've seen dudes lay in the cut or fuck up their situation. I've seen if this chick gets pregnant, I know that dude took responsibilities from jump. So we can't be like, well, you know,
I can just, if I just look off of the rhetoric of, if I look on anybody's timeline here, right, which will be a consensus of all the people in your network, and you know, it'll be women's relationship posts are much different. Like, I hate to say it, but it's almost like a entitlement when it comes to when it comes to relationship and being pampered, or being the gift or the prize, you know. And it's hardly when from my point of view, you know, when I see it, I see things like he better apply the pressure, or he needs to do, you know what I'm saying? It's things like that. So it's like women, I feel, like to be pursued more than we do in general. And I'm not saying that is not different for a certain small percentage of women, but if you just basically look at any one of our timelines, we could see that.
I think it's definitely more of this situation is definitely a both and not an either or.
I guess I'm just.
I'm not saying.
I feel like more often it's a both and than an either or than we think. But it's like people. Usually it's an either or because, like you said, I'm not a big fan of. I'd prefer playing devil's advocate often too. It's because it just allows to see both perspectives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to act like anything Marcus is saying is untrue. I know that to be true for a lot of people because we're raised in a monogamy driven society and a heteronormative society and all that kind of stuff. And so we're speaking from that because that's what we've always known. I also know the ain't shitness that I grew up with too, of being like, when I was a kid, I want a wifey and I need at least 2 side chicks to, handle me sexually for the ways that wifey won't, because, yada, yada, yada. I remember having all those ain't shit thoughts. And so I'm not going to act like that wasn't a point of growth for me to go, maybe that's not it. Now, granted,
okay, hold on.
That's what I'm like.
So explain the ain't shitness about that. If everybody in the equation is on board,
that's the issue.
Explain the ain't shit.
It's an ain't shit thing because a lot of that usually is rooted in non-consent.
But now you using generalities again. When
Wait, you said it's rooted in non-consent. I'll explain that part if they're all on board.
Because it's a thing of non-monogamy didn't exist for the most part when we were young.
As like a popular term, yeah.
As a popular term or even a popular concept. We knew monogamy, we knew polygamy. That was it. You either had one person and probably some side chicks, or you had sister wives and all of that kind of shit. And even that was a far-fetched term and not applicable to us in our teenage years or whatever. And so it's a thing of the side chicks may know about your main chick, but your main chick most likely didn't know about your side chicks.
So and somebody's unwilling, somebody's getting cheated on. I feel you. Somebody's feeling betrayed. Okay. I got what you're saying.
That's like all parties on board.
I got you.
All parties are not consenting to this thing. And the thing about it is that was acceptable for dudes to do because that was a common thing. But if a girl did that, she's a hoe, she's all this kind of stuff. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a thing of women didn't want to do it. It was not socially acceptable for them to do it.
I'm curious, who do you think was calling those girls hoe more, men or women?
Us!
Men or women, or the other women?
Both.
Calling them hoes also.
Both.
Yeah, both.
Because because of whatever misogyny and misogynoir that men are raised in, and because there's internal misogyny, just like how black folks can be racist towards black folks. Like there's like you can have all that shit internalized and then implement it onto other people. That hence why people who are so gung-ho religiously or whatever about monogamy consider anyone who does anything outside of monogamy to be dumbasses. Because they don't because often, I'm not going to say always, and I know we're speaking in generalizations, but often people who cannot make sense outside of situations outside of what they live in will have to discredit it as opposed to going, oh, well, that's that shit over there.
Yeah. I think shame is the big thing that's coming to my mind. It's like, I think, it's kind of since day one, men have kind of led the tribe, the group, they've kind of always been in charge. So they've been in a position to kind of make the rules. So if they're like, okay, we're going to make these rules and, we're going to make it where it's like, it's normal for us to find a wife. She has the kids. She, does the house stuff. I go to work. That kind of became the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like within that environment of men kind of making the rules, it's kind of like, well, we're going to have our wives, but we're also going to do our side thing, and that's just going to be how it is, and then you fast forward to like the 40s, 50s. I don't know when because you guys heard of the sexual revolution, when like women started to like kind of express themselves. Was that the 70s, 60s?
I think it's the 60s.
Okay. So it's like
you mute. You're on mute, bro.
I bet.
Oh, okay.
So that's separate from when they were like participating in the army and were allowed to vote. Are you talking about that?
no, that's like suffrage stuff, right?
Yes,
I'm
well,
talking
suffrage.
about.
Yeah.
So there's this moment in history where women kind of broke out and was like, you know what, we're sexual beings too, and we're gonna express that. I think that was like the 60s or 70s.
Oh, I thought that was for everybody, but it probably was more.
It's more so women. Yeah, they kind of led that charge, and I guess the idea was kind of like it was normal for men to be. We've all heard the same. Boys will be boys, or men are sexual, etc. Blah blah blah, and it's like it's always been a myth that women can't be sexual either. Like it's like, oh, their only role is to be there for when men are sexual, and not like to pursue their own pleasure and stuff. And I think now that mantra has kind of been completely broken down, I think a lot of people are still kind of confused when they see a woman just acting on her sexual desires. So I don't know. That's it.
I agree. I also think that this fucking donut is fire. but I'm sure. I feel like when we make the generalizations, which is fair to make, about like what you said, like women aren't. It's still it's seen as a certain way when women are expressing themselves sexually. I agree, and I agree with that statement. Were you saying something, Marcus? Okay, you're on mute, but I guess we don't hear the voices having conversations like these, especially men being able to talk about these topics in a way that expresses both sides and plays devil advocate to just the male point of view, especially that like limited, narrow male point of view. We don't hear these conversations happening more. I feel like you more so hear patriarchy, blah, 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 which is true. They are true. But you don't hear these voices also being expressed enough to show that there are people questioning that very limited point of view. And I wish we could hear that as well, as opposed to just the same thing perpetuated. I don't know. Maybe you would really do something.
Nice. Yeah, it would have been nice to have a woman's perspective, like a single woman perspective.
Singles, yeah, and a couple of them, just because I almost words. I wouldn't want her to feel like she's speaking up for all the women.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so
that's true. That's true. It's like, well, shit, we got to interview everybody.
It's ain't that everybody thing.
It's tough to do that. Like at some point, people are gonna either you say, "In my opinion," before you make any comment. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck. Can I?
And it's only because as soon as that person's there to speak on the subject, then they are, for whatever reason, considered like the master of that subject or whatever. Yeah. And so I think it's just a thing of like, of course, we don't want that person. Let's say we had a single woman to bring. She's only speaking from her perspective on that. She may be, a monogamous Muslim woman from, from wherever, and so she has that perspective, and so that's the perspective she's going to speak from. But meanwhile, polyamorous woman over here from Oklahoma is going to have a very different perspective on all of those things. Yeah. And so I think it's just a thing of, I'm not trying to say any of this shit. Like I'm trying to learn and figure all this shit out for my goddamn self, just because I know what I consider to be fucked up thoughts that I've had in the past, that people may disagree with how they were fucked up and if they were fucked up and all that kind of shit. And I'm just like, I choose to work on those things how I want to work on them. I just went and saw this dope ass movie last night, Unapologetic, that was made about two Black queer femmes who were revolutionaries in their own right, and their pursuit of justice, accountability in Chicago. And a point that they made up was two points that I thought were just really brilliant and profound and obvious, but it was a thing of one being in the space of Black activists and organizers and revolutionaries inside of the protest space, especially in these most recent years. A lot of times people act like women aren't a part of it because as soon as a guy gets in the front, he gets the mic. And even bigger one was at the time, Rahm Emanuel was still mayor of Chicago. A couple big things that they were protesting was the murder of Rekia Boyd and the murder of Laquan McDonald and the cover up of the murder of Laquan McDonald and all that kind of stuff. And so the point of Lori Lightfoot was the police council president or what have you at the time. Rahm Emanuel was still mayor. And right now, Lori Lightfoot is the mayor because she's championed as this Black, queer, progressive mayor. And meanwhile, multiple organizations of Black, queer, feminist women were the ones trying to speak to her. And she was the main person not hearing any of that shit.
Dang.
And so it's that thing of too often we're asking these questions or the questions are being asked about, what women's feelings are and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of times ain't nobody listening to women talk about it. Or the women that are talking about it respect to their opinions and all that kind of stuff, but are themselves to some degree still kind of caught up in, the misogyny that raised them.
Yeah. Or they feel like they know that if they were to bring it up in their higher power circle, that it might mess up their
it's dangerous for them.
Yeah, because they're like, well, I'm not gonna mess up my money,
right?
This, I'm comfortable with keeping this to myself, so I'm just be silent on this and accept my paychecks and go home.
Yeah.
I really wish that wasn't the case. I just wish that wasn't the case. There has to be a way to weed that out at some point. There's got to be a real that we all can see works way to weed that out. That's yeah, man.
Marco,
I do feel like we have a long way to go as far as including women in every step of the process of decision making in this country, and also when it comes to people in power and the respect factor. When you see them collaborating with other people or other officials or whatever, I think we do have a long way to go. And just by the fact that we still see first women, blah, 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 the same way, with African Americans is kind of similar to that in that regard. But I also believe that I hate to keep saying this, but the biological difference between men and women creates different paths as far as when you now there are people or women that love say construction work. We know that's a male dominated field because generally women don't want to do that type of stuff, and men are built to do that more efficiently than women in most cases. So it's yes, I absolutely acknowledge that women, their voice needs to be amplified more and regarded as more valuable than it is right now. And Like, can we acknowledge that men have higher testosterone levels? Can we acknowledge that we are generally more aggressive as far as when it comes to the physical? I would say mostly our physical differences translate in our world, basically what I'm saying, and I don't want to ignore that.
I feel you.
And albeit like the extreme, the fact that women are not represented properly, that creates people who are on the extreme the other way, like that want to look past that fact just to elevate women. And I get that, but you know, let's acknowledge that women generally don't want to do what men do. And I think if we brought women on here, I think, and maybe we can do this one day and bring some women, I think they might say that they want men to do those things that women generally don't like to do, or aren't aren't usually built to do those things at a
And before you
in a long timeline. Like, say a man, let's like there's always those I don't want to say anomalies, but like, what's a lesser word for that? Like there's always exceptions to that rule, you know. And I hate really talking in generalities, but that's just what I believe and what I've observed from my time here.
And when we do get somebody on here, just make sure you give a proper disclaimer, and then you're good. And then you're good. Then you're good.
So my vote would be, and of course, you know, shoot me down.
I can't wait for
this. My vote would be everybody bring their partner on and see their feelings.
Yeah.
Everybody ask your girl and be like, yo, come on next episode. And we let them speak on their feelings about this. And I say this because I love all y'all partners and they're all dope. Even though me and Ebony get in an argument every time she drinks. No, I'm joking. She knows I love her. But no. Yeah, let's just let folks speak for themselves.
Have y'all noticed that in lesbian relationships, there's not always, but there's usually the stud. I mean, what? That's what they call it, man. Like,
no,
bro.
I'm laughing.
I'm just saying it's real life, bro.
No, it is. I'm agreeing with you.
It's a funny observation. Yeah, no, it is. That's true for the most. I would say like, I don't know, 80% of the time.
There's usually a stud to femme ratio.
What do y'all attribute that to?
Yo, wait a minute. I didn't hear the last part. I only heard lesbian relationships. I didn't hear the rest of it.
There's usually a male counterpart.
Lesbians as a stud in the femme. For gay men, there's usually a man in the femme. There's there's those dynamics, and of course there's always exceptions. We're not even going to get into what happens with trans or gender non-conforming and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's,
and if you look in the natural world, if you go outside,
natural world,
nature. If you look in nature, sometimes people call that the natural world. We see that all the time. Like, what doesn't have a male and female? Everything has
or at least patterns. At least, like, I just feel like that a lot of that is people being people. You can be in this particular culture or this particular group of people, and you still gonna live out certain patterns. Like, it's still gonna be. I mean, that just happens. I think, and people continue those, and then it becomes a stereotype. It's cyclical, in my opinion.
You just had cyclical just sitting in your back pocket, huh?
Nah, dude, I say that a lot, man. I say that a lot.
I never heard that word, but I'm assuming it's something that having to do with cycle, right?
Cycles.
Yeah.
It's dude, I use that word way too often. I'm sure Natalie's tired of hearing that fucking word.
just whipped out that conjugation real fast. Huh?
Yeah, man. It was appropriate.
Word. We could be here all night talking about this. This is a really deep subject. So word. I appreciate the conversation, fellas, and I'm sure this will not be the last time that we talk about something in this genre. But we got to wrap up for the sake of the show, and I'm sure if nothing else, this will likely elicit reactions. Now, if all of you that are gonna have visceral reactions to this conversation, if you could write it down and send it to one of the platforms that I'm gonna list, you got InforMILLy Honest Podcast at gmail.com. You got InforMILLy Honest on Instagram. You got InforMILLy Honest Podcast on Facebook. You got InforMILLy_HP on Twitter. You got four avenues that you could write us in. Comment. One of these is going to be a clip. I don't know if it's going to be a controversial subject. Who knows? But Adam going to cut that shit and we write in. I don't care if you go comment on a clip that has nothing to do with this. Be like, yo, I heard that shit that y'all was talking, and I remember. Yeah, bitches ain't shit. They need to sit down. Whatever. Tell us your problematic opinions.
So wait, when did we say that?
We didn't. But you know how sometimes people can take one thing and they just turn into some whole other shit. Yeah, no, nobody said that.
Snoop Dogg said that, man.
But yes, you can write us in and let us know your feelings. You could also go on Apple Podcasts, rate and review. That helps other people see us, help us get further out there. And season 3, trying to get these numbers up. So we love you. We appreciate you, fellas. Final thoughts.
Provide some feedback, like Josh said, and hopefully it can become cyclical.
Marco, AJ?
I got nothing. Just be safe out there. That's it.
I don't really have nothing either.
It's all good. It's all good. We appreciate we appreciate you. Every conversation, every connection, every loved one, every person of your kinfolk, all your associates, everybody that you with, if you ever engage them in any kind of conversation, etc. We ask, we implore, we encourage, we hope you are inspired to always be forthright, vulnerable, and most of all, be honest.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all.
Peace
y'all. Thanks for listening.
Merch coming.
In the eyes of my brother, without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.